Hello and welcome to another edition of IIABCal Voices. I am James Jr., your host. And I used to work in the insurance industry as a education coordinator and as the event management director for IBA West vision of Insurance Skill Center. I did it for about 10 years and then I came back to Hollywood, but I still have friends in the business and now I'm combining the two. I'm doing a podcast for IIABCal and it's gonna be a lot of fun. I get to talk to some of my friends, meet new people, and see what the amazing things they're doing in this business and get to know them a little bit better also. So I have a father and son duo. So we were just talking before the show came on, and I know the father, and I just met the son, and now he's my best friend now. So we're talking. So we're going to talk to them. Let me give you a few of them. First about the father a little bit because he is a legend in the business. I just want you guys to know that. They both are at Liberty Company Insurance Brokers in Woodland Hills. But Mr. Armitage Sr. here, he is the 2015 Woodward Lifetime Achievement Award winner from the Independent Agents and Brokers of America, which is the highest honor anyone can receive in that industry. I mean, it's just amazing. He's currently the chairman of the Large Brokers and Agents Council of IIABA and chairman of the Association of Users Group Information Exchange. He is a past president of the network of Veraforte users. He's also has other things he's done. He has more credits, but also he's a past president of the Insurance Agents and Brokers of the West in California. I knew him then, but he was doing that then. And I'm so happy to have him on the show. Jim Armitage. Hi, Jim.
Thank you, James. Hi.
So give you your due. Give you your props, of course. And his son, who they look related, completely related. Just one has gray hair, the other one doesn't. And a certified insurance counselor, certified authority. I know it's in there somewhere. Yeah. Certified authority on workers' comp, a licensed property casualty broker. So he's smart. He's also a Liberty Company Insurance Brokers, of course, as vice president and producer. And I read something on here that I thought was very interesting, that he likes cooking, of course, golf, like most of them do. And he also volunteered at the Pasadena Tournament of Roses. I was like, okay, we love that, of course. And I'm happy to have him on the show, Taylor Armitage. Hi, Taylor.
It's great to be on here, James. Thank you.
You guys, hello. I mean, it's crazy. And I was going to say something to you, Jim. I just interviewed Rick Dinger, our buddy.
Oh, really?
And he mentioned you. He's
my
mentor.
Weird.
My mentor. So I want to ask you, actually, Jim, because this association, we think it's a wonderful association. Isn't that one of the beautiful things about being part of something like IIABCal is to have people, the connections, the sources, and all that?
Oh, absolutely. I am just blessed with all of the wonderful people that I've met over the years. They become, lifelong friends. I mean, Rick Dinger, I think, was 18 years old. I don't know that he was even licensed when we first met. He was, going to work with his dad, and he's just built an incredible business.
Yes.
And very, very successful, has 3 great kids, big football fan. He's just been a wonderful, wonderful friend. We, depend on each other to a certain extent. We reach out from time to time and, bounce stuff off each other or ask for advice. And, and I could, oh my Lord, I could go through the entire state and I could probably go through the entire country based on being on different committees throughout the years for the Big I. And I'll tell you, it's saved my bacon, over and over again. And that's what's so incredibly great, James, about this industry is, we're kind of competitors, but we're very friendly. And just like we like to help our customers, we also really like to help each other out. And I just, very fulfilling, and I just love so many people in this industry.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, Taylor, so it must be nice because we're not in a corporate environment. This is like you're your own satellites, you're doing you're independent agents and brokers, so you're doing your thing. So it must be nice to be able to say, I can pick up the phone or shoot an email to somebody who may help you with something, right?
Oh, it's the best. Yeah, I've got a lot of key, contacts and friends that I've made throughout the years. who have been involved in IIABCal, and it's just nice to have a tough risk come across your desk or some kind of a challenging issue with, a client, be it a claim or, they get non-renewed, and you can just pick up the phone. And I would say most of the industry is just so apt to, help, and will just sort of give them the shirt off their backs a lot of the time, at least that I've found. And so, to my dad's point, I just think it's a great industry. I'm glad that I kind of fell into it, because I was going to be, I was going to go to law school or be an accountant, and I went the insurance route instead, and I'm glad that I made that choice. So
You're gonna go to law school, okay?
well, I got a poli-sci degree, and then I was like, I don't really want to go to school for 3 more years. So
I love it. That's right. So he's a smarty, folks. He's smart. He likes the smart stuff.
Well, what's kind of neat is that a prime example of this is that John Morey and I worked on a lot of different committees and in the Big Eye of California.
Yeah.
And Taylor and Josh Morey, his son, got to know each other through that, work. And they're good friends, and they network now. And so, we've got it with us, kind of father son, and John and Josh, father son. It's kind of gone down through the generations. So it's really cool. And I think there's a lot of other brokers and agents, that we could say, the same thing about.
Okay, but I have to ask you guys, because this is like the $1 million question. Your father and son working together. What's the secret sauce? You guys haven't killed each other or anything. You guys are still working together, smiling. So how does that work? I mean, how does that work? Father and son working together. Like, what do you think is like at least one thing that usually why it works between Jim and Taylor Armitage?
I'll take this first, Dad, and then you can.
I love it. That's right, Taylor. Tell it.
I think communication is key, because you're always going to have disagreements, bad days, so on and so forth. So I think being on the same page, and I think being able to communicate well is huge, because there can be tones that you don't take the right way, and sometimes you get off of a call and you've been bashed by this and that, and things can be misconstrued. So I would say, lines of communication is key.
Well, I'm going to ask you, Taylor, before we get to Jim.
Yeah.
Is there times where you have to really separate? I mean, in all seriousness, Dad from business. Like, if you have to, does he ever talk to you in a way you go, that sounds like Dad talking to me? Or is it really separate? You guys have to separate it.
No, it's just it's weird. I mean, when you grow up in the industry, like I did, it was pretty seamless. I mean, I worked for one of Dad's really good friends.
Okay.
Also, they became buddies in IIABCal, Andrew Valdivia. And so, everyone knew my dad, from the get-go. And so Andrew was great and gave me an internship that turned into a real job. And it was kind of my first foray into the industry. And it just felt like home, from the get-go. So, I guess, sometimes agents, their personal lives and their business lives sort of merge in certain respects. Some folks like to keep it at home, and some like to keep their business at work. But for my own self, it's been kind of a melding of the two.
Okay. And so Jim, and shout out to Andrew Valdivia, I know him. So Jim, how's it been for you having your son, working with your son?
No, it's been really good. Yeah, I think we've gotten along pretty well. I think we've respected each other. We do talk through things because I think we look at things differently. I think lately, we have teams. So a lot of the email and texting and stuff, we don't have to do as much. We can literally do kind of this Zoom type meeting with anybody that's in, our 200, employees throughout the country. We're able to communicate. And I just think that that is a lot better, to have the face-to-face kind of communication. Now that we're kind of working remotely for the most part. But no, I think we respect each other, and I've tried not to be too much of the, kind of domineering father or, father's son, where it's, my way or the highway kind of a thing. So, but that may be a little bit of my nature.
I'm gonna say your nature. I can't picture you, Jim. I mean, you're so nice. I can't picture you like being super, controlling, domineering person. I just can't see it.
Yeah. No, I try not to. And, I think both of us have recognized that, we want to keep a relationship, and we're not going to do, something that's going to hinder that. And you just have to separate it. You have business is business and family is family.
And so Taylor, for you, you said you grew up kind of in the business. So, I mean, so this is just like a thing. You chose it, and you're like, yes, and you feel good with the choice?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Talk about a business where you can have such a great work-life balance and still be very, very successful, versus like an accountant or a law firm or an attorney where it's like you got to put in your time or you're not going to get paid, you're not going to move up in the world. I don't have kids yet, but I mean, you can work your 9 to 5, go home, pick up the kids from school, and then if you really have to get something done, when you put the kids down, you can log in, get some work done, and just sort of, I guess what I'm trying to say is there's a lot more flexibility, and you can still be very, very successful and do as well as a partner in a CPA firm or a law firm. And just, I think your quality of life can be very, very high if you do it right and you're organized.
Yeah. Well, I'm learning. Well, that's the one thing. I'm a professional organizer also in the middle of all my other stuff that I do. And I'm finding out right now, especially during this COVID and pandemic time, people are like, oh, now I see how my house doesn't work the way it should. Or now I see my business, the systems aren't set up correctly. They're finding the gaps and the holes. And you guys have to find your way kind of through that a little bit too? Or do you notice that, oh, we're really good in this area? Like, oh, we got that down. I mean, has it been interesting for you guys?
You mean like in terms of like trying to increase sales or
everything,
just processes?
Everything, just like processes. Like, did you find out? Oh, we're pretty good in this. Like, because I know some things have changed for people because of because they're at home. Because now they're at home, and you got to figure like where are all the files, where are all this, like all these different things that you probably take for granted when we all took for granted. Just wonder if anything different.
Dad, you want to start, and then I'll close?
Yeah, I find it very difficult. It took me a while because I kept thinking it was temporary.
Oh yeah,
then it stopped from being temporary, and then I said, well, I've got to get really good at what I'm doing, which meant 2 monitors, it meant a keyboard, familiarity. I mean, even like a chair.
Oh, you're not so
comfortable. So those are it did take some getting used to, and it was gradual because we changed phone systems to make it much better, and it is way better with the new phone system. It really, we can be anywhere, and it just has a lot of different flexibility in it, which just makes us very transparent. People, our customers have no idea, where we are.
Oh, good.
Yeah. I think that, we haven't lost that, and we're changing, so much is being done by email now. And a fair amount, through, Zoom and whatever, we kind of need to do. We're, kind of regrouping and trying to figure out ways in which we can we're doing a lot of broker of records, to be honest. So
Yeah.
we try to present and show, the benefits of doing business with us because of value added services. And as a consequence, then, it creates kind of holes in what the current broker is doing for a customer. So, we're trying to break those relationships and ultimately, getting broker of records for accounts and going in and plugging in our services that we have available. We're trying to do a lot of cross-selling and trying to, the low-hanging fruit, so to speak. Doing marketing, doing a lot of social media, actually even marketing campaigns through social media, and just, doing everything that we possibly can to get people's attention, to, look different, and to provide, benefits that, those customers aren't seeing. And, there's, in this area, there's tremendous amount of opportunity.
Right.
Right.
There's so many businesses. It's unbelievable. So the sky's the limit, and we're trying to adjust and do everything that we can, and we're very fortunate that Liberty Company is providing us those tools. It's great. Just every week it seems like there's something new that we're looking at and have available, and it's a collective interest. I mean, we help each other out too, and within just Liberty Company. And so it's really helpful because we've got resources out there.
Yeah. Taylor, what do you think? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think what we learned from all this is that you don't need to have 100% of your workforce in a office space at this point. So I think there's a lot to be said for, synergy and just energy about being around folks. But I think in the future, when this is all behind us, it's going to be sort of a hybrid where, based on where people live. I don't think everyone's going to come into the office all of the time, but I think a nice balance of being able to work from home and then come in, I think is going to be the right formula, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
And then, to Dad's point, utilizing technology and Zoom and email campaigns and LinkedIn and Facebook and all of this is sort of the formula for success when trying to, stay in touch with the clients that you have and trying to, bring on new accounts. So it just seems to be being able to connect, and then also trying to be a resource and somebody, and also an ear to lean on for a lot of these clients that we have who are dealing with hard times and have had claims and have had, loss. Sometimes they just want to have somebody to talk to. So I think the successful agents out there are trying to do that. So
I'm gonna ask you, Taylor, because you are the younger of the three of us. Why should someone young become an insurance agent or broker, in your opinion?
Well, I mean, it's more why do they want to join the industry? Because it's not just our side of the business that's dealing with a lack of talent who want to get into it. I think it's partially our fault. I think we need to get out in the schools, and I think we need to get more, do more outreach to try to recruit and get, educate all these kids out there that, the job market isn't that great out there at this point. And the insurance industry is kind of one of those markets where most of the jobs, they stay intact because people need to be insured, keeps kind of the financial systems going. It's a really important aspect of life. And so be it claims or actuaries or, if you want to like underwrite or you want to be a sales rep or, which side of that coin is, I think we as an industry need to really work on how are we going to recruit all these smart kids that are out there in school who don't have jobs. Like, why don't we, it's hard to make our job like more appealing or less boring, but I think it's such an important integral part of like businesses staying afloat and trying to protect folks' assets. I think we've been trying for years, and I think we need to do more work to try to get those young folks to want to, apply for these jobs.
Well, it's funny. It's not sexy. Okay, so it's not like like
that was the word I was going to use. I didn't know if we could do it on the podcast.
Oh, you can say sexy. This is my pod. We can say sexy. We can say it on there. No, but it's one of those things that it's like I work in Hollywood, so I can tell people, yeah, come be a host like I am, and that sounds fun and attractive and stuff. But yet, it's really hard work. Same with you guys. It's hard work also, but it could be really good. There might be personalities out there who like what you do. They don't want something flashy and big, and they want a solid career. And I was always told, medical, transportation, insurance, those are some of those things that are always, real estate. Like there are always things that are always going to be happening, right? They just they're fluid. They happen whether you have a good economy or not a good economy. People always need insurance, right? So you might find somebody out there that's like, oh, that sounds interesting to me in a way. Like I want to do that, or I want to put my brain to that. And so I think we need to do more of these, get them out there. And I know that's why Young Agents and Brokers thing is there out there. And I know that's kind of part of it also, but I want you to tell us kind of what you thought about that. And I want to go on the flip side now to Jim. When I was listing some of your accolades, some things you've done, how does it feel when someone repeats back to you like, and Jim's done this and Jim's done that? I mean, I'm getting that a lot too now because you just get older. It just naturally happens, right? When you've been in for life, going, I'm like, am I dead yet? What's going on? Like, it's like, what's going on? I want to know for you, how's that feel for you? How's it hit you inside when people start reading that stuff?
Well, it's embarrassing.
Let me read more about you.
No, I mean, I don't think of, it being all that different. I just really felt that there was a need to give back to the industry that, has been so generous to me. And so as a consequence, I kind of started out and, working within the industry kind of as a volunteer. And it was just very fulfilling. I always learned, like we talked about a little bit earlier, the contacts, but I always learned something, whether it was a sales tip or, coverage or, whatever. This industry and all of the different organizations that I've been involved in has, been a huge benefit. I mean, I've gotten so much more out of that than I felt that I really put into it. So, the accolades, yeah, it's really nice, but that wasn't, why I was in it, so to speak.
Right. Of course.
It's very nice. It's incredible. But again, I felt like I got so much back with a little bit of volunteering. So hope that answers your question.
I'm a big community person too. I love that. You have to get back. What is one thing that Taylor brings to the business that you notice? A good thing. Just to embarrass him. What is one thing you feel, not just as a dad, but just as a person, as a colleague?
Well, he brings a lot of expertise. I mean, he has a very different background, and I think we complement each other. I had a company background. Taylor has had, a broker background. And so, between the two, we can really, help each other out from that standpoint. He's got, more knowledge within the broker, E&O, D&O, kind of all sorts of, coverages and things that I don't have an expertise for. And then, I have kind of long-term, relationships and got my start in company. So I think that, we really complement each other that way. So, but he, a lot of knowledge and he works hard. But I would say knowledge.
Okay. And Taylor, I was saying, Taylor, is it easy for you to retain information? I'm just curious. There's a lot of you got to remember, or do you just do you know where, or no, do you know where to look for information? Like, how's that work for you?
I rarely forget a deal, especially if the deal goes bad and I don't win the deal.
Yes.
So, um, it's not so much what you retain, it's are you on top of it? Are you on top of what the pulse is in the marketplace? So I think it's really important. And Dad was one of the people very integral in our organization to make sure that we, at least in the commercial department and actually the personal lines department as well, to share info because, say for instance, in California, it's a very tough marketplace for homeowners that are right next to brush. So
Oh yeah.
people to know where to go and not have to put a client with Fair Plan if you don't have to. I mean, the Fair Plan's great, but they've enhanced it. I think it can go up to 3 million in coverage now. They've done a lot of work on their end to try to expand that. But through our, one of our Teams app that we use, we've got a database where we store all of our carrier info and who we need to talk to pick up the phone if we've got a tech risk or, with all of our key insurers. So I think it's very, very important to have a pulse with the marketplace in order to be successful.
Yeah. So Jim, we go way back. So when you hear my name or see my face, what comes to mind for you?
Education.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, education. Yeah, definitely, because of, that's something I've always believed in, and I love the, face to face. I would much rather do kind of a webinar type of I just feel like I'm more attentive and catch more. You have interaction that you wouldn't have before. So yeah, I know that you were very involved in a lot of the different education programs for, at that time, IBA West, and then Insurance Skill Center. So yeah.
Yeah, we go way back. I love it. I'm always happy to see folks. I'm like still in the business, still around, he's still in the business, and I have all these friends in it. I mean, like literally, the whole IIABCal back when it was IIAB West, whatever. Back before it was IIABC, it was like I remember all those incarnations that I can still call. And now I got my friend Taylor here. I can always call somebody and go, "Hey, I got a question," or "Hey, somebody needs blank," and they will. And everyone's so friendly. I mean, people really are in the industry, and especially at IIABCal. Everybody's friendly. They're just like, okay, what do you need? Who do you need to send you to? Let me do this. I love that part of the association. That it's like, yeah, you're competitors on some level, obviously, but it's not competitive in a way that everyone's just shut off. Like, just like, yeah, don't, no, can't talk to me. But there's some kind of camaraderie that happens, and I appreciate it. I mean, I've been out of it 11 years. And I still can call somebody, and I still get something. So I love that. I love that part of it. Why should someone join IIABCal? If they're already an agent and everything, why should they, independent agent, why should they join? Any of you can take this question. It's like the last question.
I'll start and then Dad can close. I got it. Like, I understood why IIABCal was important when I started to go to young agents and then I went to DC. So the community, the access to programs, it's the resources that you get as a result of being part of it. The Steve Youngs of the world, the John Norwoods of the world.
Oh yeah.
It's just unbelievable resources, all trying to look out for independent agents and brokers and their clients every day. And so, and you also get great friends. You find all of the, you get access to every good market that's out there, every great wholesale contact. So why wouldn't you want to pay the pittance that they ask for, big or small, to have access to all of that? So I think it's kind of a no-brainer expense for, especially if you're a young agent who's trying to start their own shop or go out on their own, to be a part of.
Perfect. Jim?
Oh yeah, legislative, activity, the John Norwoods and the, Steve Youngs are pretty incredible in California. And then, Bob Rusbold and
Oh yeah. Oh,
Charles,
Clark, of course. Clark's the man.
Charles Symington, they do an incredible job. And, we're a firm that's large enough that, we don't need to take advantage. We aren't taking advantage of like big I markets as a consequence, but for a lot of agents and brokers throughout the entire country that don't have that access, the big I provides an incredible, opportunity. And one commissioned account practically would pay for their membership dues. So that's pretty huge. And education to a certain extent. I mean, David Benish gets a ton of information out to us all the time, and the big I's doing the same thing on kind of a nationalized basis. So there's a lot of technical. Oh my gosh, the amount of information, especially on the National Association, which Bill Wilson really has put. He's retired now, but he really did a lot of stuff. Technology, Ron Berg with the Agents Council for Technology. There's so much that's out there that they're doing, and most agents or brokers don't even see that, but behind the scenes, that's all taking place, and there's so much available. Really unbelievable.
Yes. Taylor, it's a pleasure meeting you on here.
It's great to meet you too, James.
You're a good person. And Jim, I love you. So I'm glad that you're really live and kicking and
I am.
Insurance.
I'm glad he's around too.
I'm glad he's one of the nicest guys in the biz. So so everything you get is deserved. Everything you get is deserved.
Well, thank you.
Can you tell? So one of you or both of you, somebody tell people if they want to go to Liberty and Company or whatever, come tell them where they can find you guys. Where can they find you? For if they want insurance or anything, where can they find you?
Oh, like our emails?
It could be emails, if you're on social media. This is your chance to promote yourselves.
No, we have a great site on LinkedIn. We have a good site on Twitter. We have which is brand new, and we're Instagram, and I'm trying to think. What am I? I'm on Facebook.
I think we're on
under Liberty Company, or where they?
Yeah, Liberty Company. Yep.
Yeah, and all of our links are on our website as well. So it's libertycompany.com, libertycompany.com. And then, we're both on LinkedIn, James, Taylor, Armitage. We're first two guys that come up.
Yes.
Yeah. And, we have an incredible COVID resource on our website. It's probably one of the best that I've seen. And we've been, our customers really have benefited from it. And we've invested a lot of time and effort for that. So
and that's on the website.
Be sure.
Okay.
Yeah, should be on the top of the page.
Perfect. I'll make sure. Well, it'll be in the links below, everybody. If you're watching this or listening to it, there's a whole description below. I'll put all that in there so you can look at it and just and go to it. You guys, this is IIABCal Voices. I am James Lott Jr. You can follow me where all James Lott Jr.'s are sold at James Lott Jr. on all social media platforms. That's Lott with 2 T's, not one. And you can follow JLJ with people with 1 T. And JLJ Media is across the board also. This show is on every streaming service platform you can think of. So if you have a favorite podcast streaming service like, say, Spotify or iHeartRadio or Amazon, go there and look up IIABCal Voices and go ahead and hit follow or subscribe. It's one of those 2 buttons. And you can get this interview and many others that I conduct throughout the year. And of course, on YouTube, under my network, JLJ Media, I have over 30 shows on that network. I'm the network head and host for many of them. And you can check out this show and maybe others you might be interested in, like my Star Wars show. I have a Star Wars show. Maybe you like Star Wars. I talked about when Star Wars went disco recently, so I talked about that one. So you can look at that. But I want everybody, please stay safe. Try to stay as sane as you can during this time period and have compassion.